make a motion to approve as written. And a motion and a second to approve the May 21st minutes as written. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to liaison reports, starting with the marijuana coordinator report.
Board meeting, we went ahead and asked him to make a list of suggested changes.
Okay.
Him and Rachel will work together still for a little while, and not him, and then they'll bring it to the PC and we'll go from there.
Any other comments or questions on the marijuana coordinator report? If not, we'll leave the Parks and Rec report till item 15. Anything for the trustees report?
Just a verbal from the other night's meeting. We approved asking the attorney to get in contact with, or have our attorney get in contact with Xerox. We're still having a huge problem with them not honoring their contract, and they're overbilling, and they sort of verified what bills they agree that we don't owe, and then they add more on all of a sudden. So that's one problem, and they aren't replacing equipment, so the machine's making less and less quality, and we're under contract, so we can't get any more. So we include that for the attorney to take care of that.
Okay.
They approved the resolution 06-2026 for dangerous buildings ordinance, and they agreed to removing the fees and leaving it in the fee schedule. So it would just say something to the effect of C fee schedule. They approved the MTA Plus plan, so we'll still have online training available for everybody to take. Approved the policies and procedures as a whole package now. We've gotten through the last one finally, so there is now an approved package of policies and procedures. I would assume we'll be giving copies to the members pretty soon, I hope.
Okay. I was gonna say, was that brought up or just that?
No, it never got said, but. And then we had a presentation from a gentleman that has one of the dispensaries in the township, and I forgot his name. I didn't write it down in my notes, so he would like to have the township look at medical mushrooms, but not medical. I don't know the proper wording. There's a word for it that I don't know, but magic mushrooms. To use slang.
I mean,
And basically, he just presented some information to us, and we said, I think you're starting at the wrong place. You should start counting the state.
yeah.
There are some cities we now know, Detroit, Ann Arbor, a few other places in the county, and they decriminalize it.
But if you go outside of their jurisdiction, you're
Well, it
committing
doesn't
a
even
crime.
matter. It doesn't even matter if you're outside their jurisdiction, because the state police and the county police can go in that jurisdiction, and you're still illegal in that jurisdiction.
Right.
But the prosecutors basically say it's low on the totem pole. They won't look at it, supposedly in those areas.
So you won't get that.
Yeah, and so I think we never voted on it, or just a consensus where we thought that we started at the wrong location. They should start somewhere else, city or state and county. That's it.
Okay. Anybody with any questions on the verbal report? If not, then we'll move to receive and set public hearings. We have Ace Cannabis with a medical class C and 3 adult use class C grower for renewal, and efflorescence with 1 medical class C and 1 adult use class C grower license. The next regular meeting is July 9th. So I will make the motion to set the public hearing, public hearings for Ace Cannabis, medical and adult use, class C grower, and efflorescence, medical and adult use class C grower, special land use permit renewals, to be held at the July 9th meeting that begins at 7 p.m. have a motion and a second to set the public hearings for Ace Cannabis, medical and adult use Class C grower, and efflorescence medical and adult use Class C grower special land use permit renewals for the July 9th meeting that begins at 7 p.m. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Oh, I didn't see it in there. Did you have
We
a
didn't get one.
zoning administrator report?
They're not any of our
This,
practice.
it wasn't
We
in the
didn't get
packet.
one.
We'll revisit it after the public, yeah.
I looked through my packet.
Should have been printed off and put up there.
Yeah, well, they were.
Okay,
Are they now?
Yeah.
okay, thank you. All right, well,
Also, then real quick, do you have the paper for the ship? Not in my packet.
no, we'll have to get them from the coordinator.
Right.
Yeah, can we get those renewal stuff? All the information for
Public
it?
hearing for next month?
For,
Next one.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll need it.
before we leave.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so then we'll move on to complete actions on tabled items from previous meetings. That tabled action item is the licensed daycare on Oak Park Drive. As we know, we've gone back and forth over this multiple times. We got some feedback from the attorney. We found that through some digging and whatnot, that property itself, it does have easement rights, and there was no additional restrictions ever found to that easement rights. So it was the attorney's opinion that we could move forward with that, with the special land use permit discussion and approval if that's where we want to go with it. I know you were here at the last meeting, and I know we had mentioned and suggested working with everybody on the road to possibly develop a plan or restrictions or anything like that. Was there anything that ever had come of that?
No, but I do have something that the clerk here gave me that I'd like you guys to read it, one paragraph.
Is that
This
something
was
we
from
have?
this was from
Tuscola County or what?
from our clerk, or what clerk did this come from?
so we have that.
Well,
too.
that's from the rules, I guess.
So, I think Troy gave them to us
Okay.
last month.
Which package is it?
It
It was
was
last month.
it
Oh,
was
last
yeah.
No, it's the title. I got the
Oh,
last
it's
one.
the
Front page.
A
comprehensive guide to easements and access rights in Michigan.
All right, so where are you in there? So I can
It's
look
on
at
page 6 of 7. I don't know if you got it, Bob, but you can look over it. Yeah.
I got it.
So the paragraph in question is, understanding easement disputes through real-life examples can highlight the complexities and intricacies involved in property rights in Michigan. One notable case involved a rural landowner who had granted a neighbor an easement for access to a private road. Over time, the neighbor began using the easement not only for access but also for commercial purpose, asserting that the easement allowed for any use. The landowner contested this interpretation, arguing that the intent of the easement was solely for residential access. The court ruled in favor of the landowner, clarifying that the easement was limited to its original purpose, thereby preserving the landowner's rights. Now, we also have from the attorney, basically his opinion is that basically is up to the landowners to figure out. So, if she meets the letter of what we have approved for daycares on her property and the application of a special land use, the dispute is between the property owners and not necessarily the dispute with the township. is basically the guidance that we got from the attorney. So
He would have to take her to court.
it would be between the property owners to figure that out. The township has said in their ordinances that if you own residential property and you meet the special land use permit requirements, and there is no wording preventing it from being on a private road, private drive, the attorney's opinion was basically that this now becomes a dispute between the landowners. There is nothing preventing us from approving this because if they meet the letter of the law of our special land use permitting. So take that as you will. I understand that that is saying that it is potentially overturned by the court, but our ordinances are written such that, well, you met the letter of the law, this becomes, because this is a private drive, this is now basically on the property owners to figure out. Because our ordinance does not prevent it from being on a private drive.
Where did this document come from?
That's one that Troy handed out.
Last,
Well, I mean, I know where did you get it from?
This came from
where did Troy get it from?
Generous Legal Intelligence.
So we got one attorney's opinion saying it does, and the other one saying it doesn't.
Well, the opinion is that the court will, basically what this is saying is that the court will decide ultimately if the access is over and beyond, because there is no restrictions, there is no definition as to what the easement gives for in terms of like access. She has an easement, period. There is no documentation showing any restrictions of that use. This is just saying that there has been times where the court has filed, that has favored in, or has ruled in favor of a landowner that the easement was limited to the original purpose. But we also don't have any documentation as to say what the actual original purpose is. There's just an easement given.
There was an intent though. The intent of the easement was to provide access to property.
There's a difference between what the intent is and what the original purpose was. Intent and purpose are two different things. Because you could say, well, my intent when we wrote the zoning ordinance was to do this, but if it's not spelled out in black and white, we can't rule that that is what it actually means. The ordinances are that if you have the right to do this, you have the right to do this.
You kind of look at that both ways though.
Agreed, but also using your own words, it can be looked at two ways. Your words a second ago were, if the intent was to grant access, for what? And if our ordinance says they're within their legal right to do this in our township, in this zone, it's not our fault they're on a private road that the intent in somebody's mind might have been different than what you just said, but what you just said is access. What is access? Access for my daycare. Get it? You didn't say residential access, I'm using your words, so.
Property access.
Yeah, but to what extent is the property? What's the intent of the property access?
That's my point, and you don't know that if it's
That,
not right.
but wouldn't that go back to the owner of the land that gave the easement? What was the intent? He gave it the easement to him.
Again, we don't
He
know.
didn't put it in a register
Yeah.
of deeds and listed it,
It
don't
didn't
count.
get in there that it was gonna be used for anything other than property access.
So, using the ordinance, go to your ordinance and see where it says we don't have to give permission because there might have been intent not to do it. If the ordinance says, I don't know yet, by the way, no decision's been made, but if the ordinance says they can do it, how are you gonna justify they can't do it in writing somehow? That's the argument. If there's a document that shows they can't for a reason, that's what's gotta be presented, and it hasn't been that I know. There's been letters of people who don't want it. But I've seen nothing yet that says their paperwork says they can't have it. So now we gotta follow the ordinance.
You didn't find anything in the register of deeds, so no.
Well, we didn't get a copy of our deed, I don't know that that'll tell you anything other than it says, egress and, I don't know if you wanna read that or not.
Well, on her deed paperwork that we got, it did not, it was just like she has easement. And that's all it ever said was, they have easement to the property, that there is no,
This was in '09.
She had come to Maggie, or I see she didn't.
no. Troy did contact her and left a message.
Yeah, this is just all your measurements. You would have another page that would have your restrictions, or like no animals, or no business, or,
Well, they didn't find anything,
that's what I'm saying.
unfortunately.
Right.
That's what it
And that's
makes,
the dilemma.
That's
that's
the,
your
that's
dilemma.
the, yeah.
This is the proper measurements and all this and recorded, but unless you had some teeth in it, then it's pretty much between you guys, what you decide. Whoever, when they sold that property, they should have had it more. Another
Well, and
page.
when the
Another
road
page.
was put in, there should have been documentation with the road as to the, yeah, you can have, yeah, you can have that, yeah.
That's a separate page too. It never can be on the deed, that is a separate page. All restrictions are on a separate page. It costs you $1 for the page. Does not come with the deed.
If
If it was there,
if it's there,
if it's there.
So far, I don't know that they found it.
right.
We
Yeah.
went there and asked them, but
Yeah.
Yeah, when the documentation that we were presented with for her specific property, they could not find any additional restrictions. All she had was property description, this is the property, it's serviced by a private road. Private road, here is the easement that you have access to, to the property. But there is no additional guidelines as to like, you're limited on, size of vehicles. So like, Mr. Ryle owns a construction company. If he was on that private road, there might be restrictions saying he couldn't take his trucks down there because they exceed the weight capacity of the road, the way that it was constructed at the time, right? Because you had similar things on your private roads, correct?
So with the zoning, what is the restrictions on it as far as business? Like was talking before, you can't just put any business in.
No, but this particular use that she wants to do is allowed in AFR.
That's what I was wondering,
Yeah.
what are the restrictions
What,
as far as?
What is this called again that she's trying to do? Because I remember
The
the
group-
number of people.
Group
Trying
group child daycare home. So this is the 7 to 12. I think it might be called licensed
State
daycare.
licensed family daycare.
Yeah.
So under Article 5, in the AFR district, she's in the AFR district.
Yep.
Article 5.01 E, letter E, state licensed family daycare homes for children. That is under the principal uses. Principal uses.
Well,
permitted.
there's two different ones. The one she's going for is the special land use. The one that you're talking about as a
Then
permitted.
slow it down. Hold on, that's what I was asking, I thought you said it was this one.
Yeah, no, the group home, or the home, or family home license facility is only up to 6. It's the other one.
Hold on, I might give you- hold on.
It'd be in the special land. I
Oh,
think.
not even in the AFR?
It's
Under-
in
Under
AFR.
occupations with a special land use, but it's not there. Special land use, here it is. I'm looking.
Yeah.
I thought you meant I had to look somewhere else.
No. It's special land uses in that section. That's why she's here, because if she would have went for the lower license, for the one that's only up to 6, she wouldn't have had to come to us at all, because it's a permitted use. It's because she wants to go to the 7 to 12 capacity. It's easier for me.
Does anybody want to, yeah, you can look it up online and search for it.
Yeah.
This way. I wish I might have already found it and maybe marked it right here. F. State licensed group child daycare homes.
Yes.
That's the category.
That's the category she's
That's
going
what I
with.
think.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
So that's under a special land use, and then you have to go with special land use permits, requirements.
Well, that's the drawing and all that, yeah. this way because I can search. Uh, You're looking for the actual
The
guidelines as to,
Yeah, page 32.
yeah.
Is that what you were asking? I didn't.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that's what you were looking
Yeah.
for was
Well, first we found that it's allowed under a special land
Right.
use. Then you gotta come here to see if it meets all this criteria. Anybody else have theirs with them?
you said page 32?
Article 16, procedures for special land use approved by the planning commission. That's what you're looking for, right?
Right, that's,
That's on page 32 in my old copy. You may have a different copy that's been changed,
well,
where as far as pages.
right. Yeah, so, the standards for a special land, request for special land use shall be granted or denied based on the following standards. Location, size, and character of the proposed use shall be in harmony with and appropriate to the surrounding neighborhood. The proposed use shall not result in the creation of hazardous traffic conditions. The site layout, intensity of use, and time periods of use shall not be such as to create a nuisance due to dust, noise, smell, vibration, smoke, lighting, or other causes. After specific requirements for the zoning district where the proposed use would be located shall be complied with, which is why we put it originally in FR because of the intensity of use. And then it's a bunch of the marijuana after that, because that's got more teeth. Where is?
Did the sign standard change?
I mean, she's not changing the house or anything like that. All
But she can't be 1,500 feet to another residence.
you're
home.
talking that we haven't approved yet.
That's why I
yeah,
asked
yeah.
if it's changed.
Yeah, no, that's the
That's the
new proposed one. That's not what we're currently working with. What we're currently working with is basically it says she, as a special land use permit, can do this in AFR, and then you go based off of Article 16, and the standards is request for special land use shall be granted or denied based on the following standards. The location, size, and character of the proposed use shall be in harmony with and appropriate to the surrounding neighborhood. The proposed use shall not result in the creation of hazardous traffic conditions. The site layout, intensity of use, and time periods of use shall not be such as to create a nuisance due to dust, noise, smell, vibration, smoke, lighting, or other causes. And then all specific requirements of the zoning district where the proposed use shall be located shall be complied with. So then you look at what the design standards for AFR are. Which her house is existing, so when she's 55 feet off of one line, 133 feet off another line, 110 feet back off the road. So the house location meets all of that stuff, not that if it was closer to the road, I don't remember when this house was built, but that would then at that point be a legal nonconformance because the property pre-existing. I mean, one question, she's not here to be able to ask, would be, I know she answered this when she was here, but like when she would envision pick up and drop off, and it's not a 24-hour facility, so it would be, she had it like basically before school and after school for pickup times. But I can't remember what exact time she said. In terms of like the road condition itself, do you guys treat it to where it doesn't create, like, is it dusty if it gets dry? Like, in terms of what you guys have there for road conditions?
No, the only thing we do, and I do a lot of the maintenance, is I have a box plate, well, my neighbor has a box plate, they
Right.
walk for the road, and I'll grade it with that. And then in the winter, I plow with my tractor,
Right.
so.
But you guys don't, like,
Chloride or.
you don't
salt.
chloride or anything like that,
That's
so.
how you can go stuff.
One time, and that's when a different neighbor was there, we all chipped in $100 and got gravel for it.
Mhm.
But other than that, that's been it, so.
Well, I'm glad you guys found or read from the ordinances, that way he understands why people are gonna vote the way they vote by the papers, that's the ordinances and.
And currently today, when you say you do the road maintenance, how do you get, compensated for that? Is it like everybody on the road chips in for that, or is it just, you're just scraping it? And then if it needs more gravel, if it needs more gravel, you guys go try to get everybody in to maintenance
Well,
it,
we
or?
did that once,
Okay.
and I assume that if we have to do it again, people would chip in, but,
So, but as of like today, if the road needed any type of servicing, you would just go and
Not door to door.
knock, well, no, what I'm saying is like, if it needed to be graded or anything like that, you just go do it. You don't, there's no,
Contract.
fund, yeah, no, there's no fund that pays out to you. You're just doing it to, okay. I'm just writing down some questions that I'll share here in a minute while I'm thinking through.
There are some neighborhoods though where you would have an annual meeting with all your neighbors and discuss what repairs need to be done and all that stuff for everybody to actually chip in, but that's something you guys would have to do on your own.
okay.
So, I mean, if the snow.
Yeah, that could be right down the mowing lawn, gravel, or anything else, you all just make
So.
each one of you maybe put in $200.
Well,
See how
no, that
far
would be
it
her
goes.
responsibility
She
to
would
maintain
have
the road.
to plow.
Which
That's
that
very
would come
common-
back to-
Very common on private roads, it's done by the people that live there.
The maintenance of the road for access to her location, if it wasn't being done, to a standard that she felt would be her responsibility, and that she also has the responsibility to tell people what the road condition are. In terms of like, is it safe to get up and down the road? Like she is responsible from a safety of the people going up and down the road. She is responsible for making sure that is mentioned to the folks dropping kids off.
Can I ask a question, Troy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Troy, he said you had contacted her to let her know about tonight. Have you had any contact with her?
No, I have not. I haven't heard from her. I left a message. She never returned my call.
So do we even know if she's still pursuing this?
She
Well,
is-
I'm gonna have enough questions just from tonight.
She is,
Oh.
yeah,
She is pursuing it,
yeah,
right, 100%.
Well, I knew she was.
yeah.
She's also not contacted back.
Well, a lot of people don't like her. She's got the paperwork in. And it in
Well-
for weeks.
She had it in, but at the time, the hang up was, we don't know
Right.
whether or not,
There was restrictions.
Right.
Yeah.
because from our standpoint, if there would have been restrictions, then it's all like, oh, okay, then there
Now
is
it
in
has-
writing.
Now it has to qualify for this and. for
Right,
this.
right. Um,
She hasn't withdrawn her application.
Well,
Right.
that's true too, right?
Yeah. So as I was going through this, so some of the questions that kind of need to be answered from her wanting to operate there and understanding, like, I know the neighbors are generally against it, but some questions that I would want from her to answer are, you know, is she willing to chip in on, you know, on dust management, because naturally the increased traffic would cause more dust on the road. If she would be willing to pay for maintenance based on the increased use, and then like how you guys would work through that process. Ask her if she's gonna have an outside play area, because like on the drawing that Troy helped her with, it's basically just like, well, you know, here's the property. She doesn't really give any details as to whether she's gonna have any play equipment or play structures or anything like that. Get clarity on the hours of operation again.
Is it fenced, was one of my questions.
Yeah.
Is it fenced? The kids are gonna be able to get
Yeah.
the road?
Yep. She's gonna have school-age children there. Like, how is she planning on? Is she planning on the bus being able to pick up there, or is she willing to have the kids walked out to the end of the road for pickup? You know, so there is questions about just the general operation that she kind of needs to answer, because, like, I mean, you guys have a 75-foot turnaround. Theoretically, a bus could get down your road and use the 75-foot turnaround to get back around and out, but also the bus is gonna, like, I mean, I don't know what kind of traffic you have up and down your road other than, I assume, just the residential cars, right? Like, you don't have the trash come down there. I know we talked about that. You wanted it, but it does not come down there, right?
No, the trash doesn't come down, the mail doesn't come down,
Right.
and,
Just FedEx and UPS at 60 miles an hour.
And the US Postal Service for packages.
Yep, or
They'll come
back.
down your road 5 times, but they won't deliver a letter.
There you go. Just
and
a
I don't
phone
know
bill
if the
flying.
school buses will come down there either,
They will, if there's not anything posted saying that they can't go down there, because I know of a couple that have gotten stuck on private roads, and after about the third or fourth time, I've heard that somebody had complained enough that they stopped going down the road.
Well, that applies to county roads.
Right,
There
yeah,
are county roads, they'll go here,
Yeah.
and they'll come here, but they
Right.
don't connect.
yeah. Be picked. Yeah, I mean, without her being here to ask some of these questions, because some of these questions also lead into her potentially offering up certain restrictions on the approval. Because she has the option to be like, well, I won't do, as if, with this approval, I will put the condition that I won't do this, I won't allow the bus to come down the road. I won't do, I will pitch in, based on fair value to fix the road and maintain the road. Like, there is the opportunity for her to put self-conditional restrictions on there, but since she's not here to be able to answer some of that, that is hard. I know she answered some of the questions, but it was very high level, because once we got to the point, it's like, well, this is on a private road. Do you have documentation if there's restrictions or not? We kind of ended the conversation there. There was no point of having a conversation about any of the other stuff, because if we would have saw that there was restrictions, if we would have saw there was restrictions, then it's like, well, then none of this other stuff matters, because the restrictions say you're restricted from being able to do this based on what the guidelines were. Anybody else? So are we
Table it
Are we
again?
tabling it again until we get her to come here and answer these questions? Is that?
Do we need to just request that she'll try to contact her about coming to the next meeting first?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if she doesn't, I mean, we can't table this indefinitely, right? So like, what are we saying? Like, if she doesn't show up, with
She can't show up to that one, but she can come to the next one.
Right.
That just bumps it, that one, but that's screwed, so.
right. So we want to have Troy try to get in contact with her to see when she would be available.
If we can.
Yeah.
I mean, we need her here to talk
Right,
about it.
well, I'm trying to figure out like how we want to approach it.
Unfortunately, she came, what, 2 extra times when we couldn't
Right.
get anything yet.
Right, right.
So any of these questions, Bill and I have, any of these questions you got here, follow our ordinance, if they can't go through, it's because you don't know about hours, or you don't know that, I'm just wondering,
Well, some of these questions directly relate to what the ordinance says. The location, size, and change of the proposed use shall be in harmony with and appropriate with the surrounding neighborhood, which to a certain extent, because we said it's a special land use in that area, does. But we also don't know what equipment that she's gonna add, what if she's gonna have pickup at her house, which if she's gonna try to have pickup at her house with the school bus, there is a potential to come into conflict with the site layout, intensity of use, and time period shall not be in use such that creates a nuisance due to dust, noise, smell, vibration, smoke, lighting, or other
I read
causes.
that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
don't see where it says that if the school bus comes down, they can't do it, or if the school bus stays at the road, then she can do it, I don't see that in the ordinance, but,
But in the
But the
ordinance,
intensity of use,
in the ordinance though, she has the right to self-restrict. Let me use a different example. One that I've heard you use against people in the past. Hours. If we don't do it, what are her hours? If we approve it blanketly,
but
she can be
said
24 hours.
she
No,
said
it's
her
not.
hours was
No, we put a
7 to
note.
5.
she
It's not
said
writing by
that's
her.
what she thinks her hours are gonna be.
But it's not in writing by her on this agreement.
Yeah,
Oh,
You
no,
approved this.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's not in the
I
ad.
mean, it is on my copy because I wrote what she said.
Right. But it's not a condition that she's offered up, where she would say like, yes, I will conditionally say like,
I'm blank.
yeah, 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. whatever that is. Like she has the opportunity to do that to make it also more cohabitable with the folks on the road. Right? We've done that with the marijuana facilities. We've asked like, hey, can you guys do this? And will you be willing to do this? Can we put that as a condition as part of your approval? Like I'm not saying it's an outright no, but also it helps her to be a good neighbor if she's here to answer some of these questions and be like, yeah, I'd be willing to do this or I'd be willing to do that.
I agree, but
Yeah.
it's too bad the neighbors can't talk with each other and talk with her
That's-
because she's living there. It's too bad you can't get together and make some sort of decision.
Well, I mean, that was
That's what I was thinking.
that was suggested
That
at the
was
last meeting.
suggested weeks ago.
Voice your concerns on why you're
Can this,
hesitant
and
and
this,
yeah.
can we meet here, or can we do this, or can we do that instead of nothing for weeks? So, but whatever, get a table, I don't care, I'm just.
That it all falls back on the no maintenance agreement on that.
A little bit.
There's-
And,
Maintenance agreement,
That's it.
Right. The maintenance agreement that we suggested at the last meeting is like have everybody get together,
So-
agree to like this is what it's gonna look like to maintenance the road, this is what the cost is gonna be, we're gonna put money into this area. If nothing more to compensate you for your time and the wear and tear on your equipment if you're the one that's gonna be doing it, right? But you have a list that you have it listed out and you say like, and you put in that agreement, like you pay more based on having a heavier usage, right? Like she has more cars coming up and down the road. Well, you would have to pay, 10% more, 20% more, whatever than what you're paying because your usage is significantly more than everybody else's usage, right? And that's why we suggested like everybody talk together and instead of,
Yeah, I was hoping this would be resolved by this already. It's already been a while. And this should have been resolved, but again,
but again,
it is what
she's
it
not
is.
here tonight to be able to answer some of these other questions, and part of the
Why didn't she
reason,
answer- Why didn't she answer Troy's calls and
Troy
stuff too?
is
So
looking
just
for.
table it, see what's happening, move on.
Snow removal would be a big one too.
well, we gotta have an answer as to what
Is
is,
he required by law to maintain that road for her?
no,
So he could let the road go
Yep.
and nobody could get down and her business gets shut down.
Somebody's gotta maintain the road, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah, somebody has.
Somebody.
but
Maybe
she,
do it herself.
but she also to a certain extent has the right to maintain her access to her property.
Right.
So if part of that is she then goes, well, the road's not being maintained, I go and get somebody to plow the road and only plow it to her house, she has the right to do that because she has to maintain access to her property.
Right, the issue is no maintenance agreement, that is the.
No maintenance agreement, no restrictions.
No private
No,
road
no defined,
association
And technically, that's a
been made. That's what you have to
violation of
make.
our ordinance.
but when was the road put in, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I talked to Seth about.
Okay.
and he was like, well, it's not in here, it's a police action, right? Isn't that where it's at?
Now it is, yeah, it used to be a zoning ordinance.
Yeah, now it's a police action, so it's different.
Right. I mean, that would be a conversation with Seth to figure
Yeah.
out where it makes the most sense to have that type of information. But I know it's been gone back and forth as to whether private roads are a zoning ordinance issue or a police ordinance issue. All right, so,
Make a motion to
Well-
table
okay, I got a motion to table it. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to table the approval of the group daycare home special land use permit. Any further discussion?
Date, when is this?
Oh,
next
that's
meeting?
what,
Can you repeat it again?
a motion to table the approval of the group daycare home
until next regular scheduled meeting.
Okay. to the next regular scheduled meeting,
When will the next meeting be?
July 9th.
Second Thursday,
It's always the second Thursday of the month.
always second Thursday.
Yeah.
She can pay for $250 and have it. Pardon? She can pay $250 for a special meeting.
If she wants to have a special meeting between now and then, she can pay $250 to have us hold a special meeting. What I would suggest is I would leave your contact information with the zoning administrator. So if in the event that she does want to do that, she says, well, I only have this date and time to be able to do this, that you leave your information with Troy and he should be able to contact you and let you know, hey, she's requested a special meeting.
She could be sick or anything, so when
Right.
things come up, you could be sick, something, but you guys should be able to work it out.
Okay, so, any further discussion on that? If not, all in favor? Aye, all opposed? Motion carries, so we'll have tabled that. And we will move on to opening the public hearing for 664 Vassar LLC Special Land Use Permit Renewal. This is for the Provisioning Center on State Road, across from Genesis Credit Union. Any members of the public receive, oh, yeah, I was getting there. 7:45 is when we will open the public hearing. Any members of the public receive notice for this public hearing that wish to speak at this time? If not, then at 7:46, we will close the public hearing for 664 Vassar LLC's Special Land Use Permit Renewal. And at 7:46, we will open the public hearing for the rezoning request of parcel 020-01400-2400-00, also known as 3763 West Saginaw Road. Any members of the public received notice for this rezoning request that wish to speak at this time?
No, I just came to find out what it was about, I got a letter in the mail to show up,
So to give more information on that, the zoning request is to take that parcel, that was zoned commercial and turn it into a residential parcel.
Does it affect anything on my land?
All it does is with respect to how it impacts you is we are going from a higher intensity of use to a lower intensity of use. So
So it's
previously,
not gonna change anything, like there is part of my property that's grandfathered in business, and it's not gonna rezone stuff and change things.
it's only impacting that parcel.
Pardon?
Just his parcel.
Just that side of the road, not
Do
yours.
whatever you want, then, if it doesn't affect me. Water.
Yeah. You're just so you get a notice because you're within 300
Yeah, it said
feet.
300
Yeah.
some feet, yeah.
Cause, yeah, I heard they wanted to put a junkyard there, ain't sure.
Go for it, I got a junkyard right where I'm at too, so God bless, join us.
Not happening.
All right.
That's too close to my
I got
house.
one across the road too, so whatever.
All right. Any other members of the? Actually, can you state your name for the record since you did?
Oh, my name's Charlene Dick, D-I-C-K. And no, I'm not calling you that, that is my name.
Spell it again.
D-I-C-K, Dick.
Charlene, right?
C-H-A-R-L-E-N-E, yep.
Any other public comment? If not, then at 7:48, we will close the public hearing for the rezoning request. And we'll move to planning commission and discussion and action on 6-6.
I'd like to just say something. The reason, because I don't know if you guys know the reason why this has come up.
We're gonna have discussion on that.
You get to talk next.
You will get to talk here in a minute.
I don't know, I've never been to one of these. This is-
You'll get to talk here in a minute when we ask questions, when we take action on that. But first, we've got to do, we'll move to planning commission and discussion and action on 664, Vassar LLC, special land use permit renewal, for the adult use and, medical provisioning center. This is just a straight renewal, correct? There is no change in ownership? All the notices are sent out?
You have a letter that says that also.
Okay. Well, I wanna make him say it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let the new guy get broke in. Yeah. He can say there's a letter in front of us.
Yeah.
Read, leave me alone, right?
Hey, I don't mind being included.
Hey, it's also great to have it in writing, but, we also are live on Facebook, so I want
Sure.
to also
It's-
say it
yeah,
out
we can
loud.
say it anyhow.
Yeah.
Not everybody does it in writing though.
And, no violations, no complaints.
Yes, sir.
All that's still accurate?
All right.
I thought that at your meeting, there was one that you noticed.
But that wasn't this company.
That's not-
oh,
It's that
I
one
just, yeah, all right.
Yep.
from 2 meetings ago. It was the same name.
All right, well, if
One
it's a,
quick little thing.
yep,
On the second page of the permit application,
which,
it's sort of irrelevant, but they didn't select that they're doing medical marijuana provisioning. They check provisioning, but not medical marijuana. They only check adult use and provisioning. So,
you're saying the top box they didn't check.
Yeah.
They checked the bottom,
Right.
yeah.
but they didn't say they're asking for renewal of medical marijuana by checking that box. It might be a minor thing, but remember, some of these guys who don't like it, they have to do it. So this might be a way to start saying, no, you didn't make it last year, look.
Yeah, but
So we can
also,
approve it with a check mark after we check it.
right. Yeah, but if we don't approve their medical, then they can't participate in the adult use either.
But you wanna watch that though too on your application.
Right, well, and that could be part of the suggested changes too, is that it's,
No, he's, real good at not doing all the boxes.
I'm not making anything like that.
I'm
Lots
just
of people
saying,
miss
you
a
can
lot.
miss them, you can miss them. Lawyers do them, they miss them.
I was gonna say, yeah, some of them have
The-
the lawyers still out there,
Yep.
wrong and missing lots of information.
Long name.
again, I would also say that if he was not intending to go for the MMFL, the medical marijuana, he would not
He
have
would
checked the
null and void
box.
his other box.
Yeah, he wouldn't have checked the box in that column. So one of the changes that could potentially be made is that you just list these out instead of having the two columns like we do. But the reason we have two columns like this is because sometimes both aren't coming up at the same time.
Anyway, that's the only thing I want.
Are both coming up at the same time?
His,
He's blind.
he did, when they did this one, it was at the same time, yeah. Yeah. This one, this was like the very first one we did, this one I do remember. Cause I do believe, if I remember correctly, and mine could be going on me, but when we approved the adult use, at the time that his medical was coming up due, is when he applied for the adult use. So they came on the same schedule.
Yeah, trying to get someone all on the same time, so
Yeah.
all split up.
Well, even still, they could do their.
I mean, they could do,
Even,
yeah.
they could do them both if they're staggered. while
Yeah, and then they
you're-
get them on the, yeah. With that then, I will make the motion to approve the renewal of 664 Vassar LLC's, medical provisioning and adult use provisioning center, special land use permit renewals. Do I have a second? So I have a motion and a second to approve renewals, same thing. 664 Vassar LLC's medical provisioning and adult use provisioning center, special land use permits. Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Sam,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Gloria, yes, Devin,
Yes.
Bob,
Yep.
Ben.
Yes.
All right, so then with that,
I
we will,
almost said your name because I'm writing it. You were already at me while I'm writing your name.
so with that, then we will move to planning commission discussion and action on rezoning request of parcel 020-011-4-000-2400-00, also known as, I gotta get back to that page that I had that on. Also known as the parcel located at 3763 West Saginaw Road. So you had a comment on why this was being done.
Yeah. We came to the township probably 2 or 3 weeks before that. My brother Kirk called and talked to Sherry. We needed it. We had a purchase agreement. It was supposed to be signed May 11th. But the bank, the financial institution in Detroit said they would not allow to sell the property with a commercial piece of property and residential, because the people were asking for a residential loan. So that conflicted with what the property as a whole, that 3763 was commercial, and the 3775 was owned by my parents. But to sell it, we had to have that commercial property rezoned residential, because the bank wouldn't allow to have a commercial in a residential loan. So we called and got a hold of Sherry. Sherry typed up a letter, sent it to my realtor, Bowman Realty in Vassar. They sent it to the other realtor and the financial institution in Detroit. They couldn't make heads or tails of what the letter was, because it didn't say that the township was going to allow us to rezone that so they could get their loan. So in the meantime, we talked to Troy, and we had a meeting with my brother, the realtor, and Troy, and everything was fine, but it was May the 11th or the 12th, we had a meeting here. We couldn't get them to agree to have the sale because their dead date was May 11th.
Right.
Well, come to find out, Sherry sent the letter. Troy told Sherry, you can't do the rezoning because you're the appraiser.
Well, yeah, we don't have it written that such that, because part of the way, so the way this letter that you're talking about is
I
written.
never seen it.
Yeah, the way that the letter is written is basically like, well, those two parcels we're gonna get combined together
Yes,
into one
they are.
parcel.
They are.
Because they're two different zones, what she was saying is basically like, once it gets put together, it would automatically rezone, which it's not written out in our land division thing that she has the authority to change the
Yes,
zoning
and that's what
through.
Troy said, and I understood what he was
Yeah.
saying. But what we needed was a letter of intent, that if it, once it, because we had to put them together to add more property to the way the property was for the house. So we just added part of the woods and part of the field, so that way, because the other parts of the family didn't want any property. So we just wanted to combine all that with the house and the body shop. But what we needed is a letter of intent that it was in the process of being done. They would have got their loan, and we would have sold the property. But since we couldn't get a letter of intent, not saying it was done, or, you know, down the road it would be done, that you guys were in agreement that it was gonna come out because of the combination of the residential. And that's where I think the lack of communication, when this might happen down the road, that somebody needs to say, we got this, because it was supposed to be on a board meeting with you guys, but since Sherry told Troy, hey, it's already been taken care of, Troy didn't look into it any further. So I just want to make sure
No,
that somebody, if it comes up again with another piece of property, no matter how it is, that if one person says one thing and it affects the other zoning board or whatever, then, like you just said with that babysitting thing, everybody needs to be in agreement. Well, nobody knew what the other hand was doing, and we lost the sale of the property, and now we gotta start all over.
Right.
I mean, it cost us, I don't know how many thousands of dollars with the realtor, because they spent time and money to get this deal set up. And now we lost, and she called
Well, I'd be concerned personally if all that was required was a letter of intent.
That's
Because of
all.
the way the process of a rezoning happens,
right, but they.
like, it could be denied and then.
So the letter of
bank-
intent would be all wrong.
Right.
It could have been, but here was the stipulation that even, we had Troy kind of admitting that since Saginaw Road can be zoned commercial.
Right.
My understanding, when I was talking to Troy, and the other two people were there, that the bank down there understood, because they talked to Troy, Troy said that he talked to them, and I don't know what the language was, but when it was explained to me, it was like it was never gonna be able to get rezoned. That's when the deal fell through. If we'd had a letter of intent, that yes, it's in the paperwork, that we are combining it, it will go to residential, they would have approved the loan. That's what the realtor and the bank lady told me.
Right,
What
but,
would have happened if we then denied you the combination after the fact?
If you denied it, then it would have been revoked. The loan would have been revoked.
Right.
Because, you know, you don't get a loan that day.
Because a rezoning requires a public hearing, that's what
That's
we're
right.
denying.
That's
We
what I
can't
said.
say we will do it in the future, we have to say we
But
will
see,
start the process.
Sherry and knew that we already had the paperwork all done to combine it. So it's in the process of doing it, because I got my piece of property, my brother got his piece of property, and the rest of it was being combined.
And that wasn't my
The
next
paperwork's
question.
already at Sherry's desk. It's already been surveyed, everything was done, but for that bank to approve it, because like you just said, if it's being combined, that automatically goes back to residential.
It's not automatic.
well, it's not,
Well,
that's,
but it
Nobody
was
here
in the
said that.
intent of it. That's why I said, the intent was gonna be rezoned.
right.
So
That-
I'm just
so
saying,
the-
there needs to be a little more communication between the two departments. if
Well,
there-
so this isn't, what you're describing as to, like, what Sherry wrote here, right, is not necessarily a miscommunication, it's a misunderstanding
Yes.
on her part potentially as to what happens
And
when.
she
What
wrote
would
a
I
second
say?
letter
Right, and then she
apologizing
did
for that.
write a second letter
But see,
explaining that.
When Troy said it was tabled on a meeting, and then when they talked to each other, and Sherry told Troy it's already been taken care of, there's where the ball fell. Now, Troy should have said, or Sherry said, this is what I sent, please, are we right or wrong? And it wasn't, because even Troy said, I don't know, and Sherry said, well, I already took care of it, so that meeting was on a Thursday, and it was taken off the table, because Troy was told by Sherry that it was taken care of. But she can't rezone it anyways, it has to go through Troy, which I understood. But that's why I say, there needs to be a little more communication if there is another situation down the road that, okay, this is what we got coming up, especially when it was already on a meeting. To take it off the meeting, Troy should have asked Sherry, okay, what did you do? Because he didn't even know what actually she did, until she talked to him on the phone that day on speaker with us standing there. So, are we gonna take that out and put it residential, since they already have all the paperwork to combine those two properties for a future sale of the property?
I mean, that's the discussion that we have to have tonight.
Yes, but that's what we
Whether-
would like, because otherwise it's gonna be difficult for us to sell it. We'd have to sell it as two parcels unless we can combine it. And if we do that,
Well,
now we
so-
gotta have it all resurveyed again.
There's two options here, right? Like, so, and to be open as to like some of the other discussion that was happening, Troy asked me directly about this,
Yes.
and
Because you were on the phone when we talked about it.
well, there was other
after
conversations
that.
prior,
Yeah.
prior to that, because there was when I saw this come through, I asked about like, well, why not rezone the other property commercial? Because the master plan says, like, we want to move the Saginaw corridor and the State Road corridor more towards being commercial operation. Like, long-term planning is commercial operation, right? So it would potentially be a,
Then your neighbor would have a
Yeah,
problem, because
there
I
would
want
be a-
private, and I would have private.
there would be, the intent is that it becomes more commercial in that corridor, right? So there is there would be less of a hurdle to rezoning it because the master plan says our plan is this.
Yeah, both sides of Saginaw Road can potentially be zoned commercial.
Right.
And I knew that was in the plan from when they redid Saginaw Road.
Right.
I mean, my dad was still alive, and he said, I don't have to worry about it. By the time you do it, I'm gonna be gone, which is the truth. They're
But-
both gone. For the sale of the property,
But so, and that's what I'm getting to with the rest of the discussion here, is that the attorney sent us memorandum of guidance on, even if it's part of the master plan that is to be zoned commercial,
Right.
that area is to be zoned commercial, there is the ability for us to maybe rezone the parcel that you want to rezone as residential, because reasonable use under current zoning district, the current ability to use the property as zoned is a factor to consider when reviewing your zoning request. If the zoning classification renders the property entirely without the value, which it won't. And then the other part of it is, there was one here, consistent with zoning in general area. Everything else in that area currently in the surrounding area is residential.
yes.
Correct,
So-
20 acres residential, I'd like a resident next to me, not a business.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that it can be considered, then also public feedback,
Okay.
which your neighbor is here,
Yes.
so there is a discussion to be had with the rest of the planning commission,
Okay.
but yeah, thank you for the background as to
Well,
what's going on.
like I said, the biggest concern was the lack of communication between the zoning and the appraiser, who is combining our properties. That
Well,
was-
I think, if I understand correctly, because Sherry works in a bunch of different, she works in Fostoria too.
Yeah.
There is the potential that Fostoria has given her the authority to do administrative changes like that
over there.
based on,
Yes, that's
She
what I
just
said.
thought it was
I'm
for
not
John.
blaming
She didn't
anybody.
realize it's by
You
the
know, I'm not
ordinance.
mad at anybody, because of the way we were told what we had to do, we tried to do it by that date. But like I said, if the bank down there, according to the lady at the bank, when I called her up, she said, if it's in the process of combining the properties, because that's what they said for the survey, that all they would have needed was a letter of intent that is in the process of being,
rezone.
combine the properties, and then like you just said, if it's combined, it'll go back to residential. That's all it, really what we needed.
Which the land division, the problem is that our land division act,
Yeah,
at least in the cursory reading that I gave it,
Yeah.
does not specify what happens when combining two different zoning districts.
right.
That is part of the problem. There is
Yeah.
no definition as to how.
Right, that's why we need to have it.
But
taken
that is,
care
but
by
that
you
is
guys, you know.
but that is a Board of Trustees
Yeah.
issue to solve, because that is under their purview. That's a
Right.
general policing
So
thing, not a
so
zoning ordinance.
Can we have, because a realtor wants to know, when will we have a projected, okay, this is gonna be taken care of? Because she can't list it.
Well, depending on what happens by
When you
motion
guys talk
here,
about
it will take at least another 2 months for
Okay.
it to resolve if it gets
If
approved
it gets
to.
through. Because that's all because she wanted to know, because she had to pull the sign and take it off the market, because there's an issue with the zoning and the property. Not anything wrong with the property, like the house or the lot, none of that. It was the paperwork. So she just wanted to know when she can put it back on the market, if this is straightened out to where it does become residential.
Right.
And
So
as,
within a couple of months.
and as the neighbor, when I bought the property, I knew it was business and commercial, just like my brother's property was. I knew I was buying a place
Mhm.
next to business, private.
Mhm.
And I grew up there, I knew how it operated, but I would, if you were saying that's gonna be zoned as a business, I would have things to say about that. I would be.
Well, it's already zoned commercial.
Yeah,
That's
it's already-
already zoned commercial.
And this is the problem, I don't understand why your realtor's saying all that. That property can still be sold today.
It can't be combined with.
It can't be combined, but it could
Yeah,
still
but
be a
then
deal.
here's the problem.
It could be sold as two parcels that you're requiring to be sold together.
Right.
That's their mortgage problem, and there's mortgage companies out there that'll loan the money.
Yes.
That one wouldn't.
We do not want to get into that situation where whoever decides to buy it, whatever loan they're going through, okay, we got a problem. Now we're back up, we can't sell it. And-
Well, you can still, Ben's point is you could still sell it, and you could sell it as
Right.
two separate properties.
Right,
They might have to come up with cash for this part, loan
See,
for that part.
that's the
Or
problem.
they might be able to get
Not
a mortgage.
everybody's got enough cash to buy this
I
one,
understand
down
that.
payment, so,
I understand that,
Just
but
like-
adversely, think about this.
Right.
What if the next guy to come along was like, oh man, this would be perfect if I could run a body shop there.
then he comes back to you
Buy
guys.
part for me.
Yeah, but here's.
No,
the
you're
deal.
zone residential, you gotta go through this whole process too.
That's okay, we can do
But
it.
see, here's the problem. We don't care what the other people want to do. We just need to sell it so we can get the estate settled.
What if
So-
that's the buyer though, is my
Huh?
question. What if the buyer that comes along is willing to pay for it, but they wanna be able to run a body, I'm using a body shop example on purpose, you know why?
If
They
they
could have
want
sold it a month ago, is what I'm hearing, and they lost it.
But we
to.
have.
See, here's the deal then. I don't care what the next people want to do.
Right.
The easiest way for us to make
That's
a
the way you're
sale,
looking at
to
it.
settle the estate.
Sure.
Because my mom's been dead 3 years. And we're to the point where now we have to get rid of it because our taxes, our heat, our lights, you know, it's costing us $5,000 or $6,000 a year for it to sit empty. That's the thing, and we have to keep paying the bills, and we need to settle the estate, and that's the only way we can do it, I think. And if people want to put it back to commercial, then they come back in here
And then we don't.
and they rezone it, you know, go through the steps to
Yep.
get it back.
That's
But
possible.
for us to sell it, we don't want to have another person come in and say, we got a
Can't get
problem.
along, right? I
So for
understand.
here tonight, what we do to move it forward, if we have a motion to recommend it to the Board of Trustees, what's the next step for us?
The Board of Trustees so it has to go to the county,
Tuscola County
Yeah.
Planning Commission first.
And there you go.
And then it comes
There's
back to
where-
the board for approval.
but it goes to the
That's where it
board,
goes.
it ultimately goes to the Board of Trustees, but yes, we adopt a resolution
To
that
deny or
says
to
like,
perform,
pass
and
it
then
to
goes
the
PC for
Tuscola County
Because-
Planning Commission for their 30-day review and
Right.
say yay or nay, because they may come back and go, no, you're not gonna rezone that.
So here's what you want to tell them. There has not been a business in there since 2009. Am I bad? I'm just saying, if they say, well, when's the last time a business was in there?
That doesn't make a difference.
That won't make a
It
difference.
makes no difference on zoning.
And the one that the one bullet point that I read earlier, the reasonable use under current zoning, where it's all like, if the zoning classification renders the property entirely without value. I mean, we're not, either way, it's not rendering it without value. So
Right.
even if we did take action, the property still has value.
Right,
Like, we wouldn't, yeah, so I mean, either way, just keep that in mind. Like, even
Yeah.
if we approve it, the county could say no. Then, or the county won't care.
The board would say no.
The board of trustees could say,
Because
no, we want to leave it that
Here's
way.
what we have to plan for us as a family, not, I don't care about the realtor. Because if the zoning won't let us do it, then we have to have it resurveyed again to take that half acre, whatever the body shop is, out, that 3763. Now there's costing us more money again.
Well, but hold on, so the survey was to establish,
One
so you-
piece.
One piece.
to establish it as one piece, but you already have the information as, like, the
It's just a
information as
paper
to,
survey at that
Right,
point. They
right.
recalculate the numbers.
you already
Yeah.
have
We have to go
the
back,
information
we
on
have-
that property.
Yes, we have to go back and have it divided back out.
Well, it's not put together now as it is.
Right.
So you're not
That's what I'm
dividing it
saying.
out, you're not dividing it out, you're
No.
dividing it out from what you want to reconfigure.
Yes, that's why I say, the realtor, no matter what realtor is, we have to figure out the timeline that we can either get it back together, or we have to have two separate pieces, then we have to list it as two separate pieces of property. Now, what if the person wants to buy the residential, but don't want to buy the commercial? That's why we wanted to put it all together, so we could sell it as one lot and get done with it.
That does bring up a quick question I wanted to make sure I asked.
Yeah.
You have the two existing small parcels and then the larger parcel.
No.
You're taking a piece of the
No,
larger
so-
to add to these two?
No, the
You're
buy
just-
shop is all
Half
right.
acre. Yep, I know
The
that, and then
house
your mom's old house.
Do you have this?
Ma's house?
I got that, yep.
The-
Yes, Ma's
This
house.
is this is the future.
This shows
This
that
is
future
the
line?
latest
I apologize, hold on. So that makes sense.
There's roads on
And it
I
should,
looked it up on GIS, I didn't,
I think it was not part of your other,
I don't have that.
hey, Troy, make a copy of this real quick.
That was this in a picture.
Or do you have it over there,
I was
the
gonna say, I didn't see that, so I don't have that.
certificate, it's the certificate of survey that shows.
So
like,
anyway,
the
when I looked it up
potential.
on the internet, I see the two and then the large giant parcel.
Yes, the
Are you
14
making
acres
it,
of the woods. The 14, when you look at it originally.
you're not combining all the full three, are you?
We're combining the body shop, the house, and 8 acres.
That's what I was asking.
Because
8 acres off the big
8
14.
off the 14,
Got it.
because my
I mean,
brother.
this one shows it's only gonna be 5 acres in total, once it's all said and done.
And I've never seen that, so.
I
use-
thought I
use GIS.
I thought I
Because
included
the
it.
latest one is 8.4 acres.
So this is this is what we were.
Yes, this and this are going, I don't know why they're gonna keep them separate, but these two here are going together. These are what we need. This is all gonna be sold.
These are two separate parcels, but your intent
Yes.
is to sell them together.
Yes.
So it will create a 5-acre parcel and a 3.
Yes, but they're gonna be sold together. But the reason is, we had to have this in with this piece. That's why we gotta take that out. Yeah. Because
I thought I included that because it was part of.
That's fine, I looked it up on the internet though, just to see what it was now.
Yeah, because what it is now, it's the body shop,
It's the
the
half acre
house,
for the
and
body
14
shop.
acres out in the woods.
Right,
You know,
I see
back,
that.
right, you know, from where you used to live, that
I
woods.
know, I knew what you had, but I didn't know what you were trying to create.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that brings me to a separate question, your pre-made resolution's got some mistakes, including the sizes. But we're
Well-
not to that point yet.
Well, we're only rezoning the
Yes.
the 0.51 acres,
Yes.
which is what the body shop is.
3763 West Saginaw Road is the commercial property.
The one that's in the red on your drawing.
Which is that parcel number. Yeah.
Right.
What other
The top of page 2, the Vassar Township Planning Commission
Oh,
recommends adoption of the
it's
proposed
because I
zoning
copied
ordinance. It
another-
talks about 19 acres.
I can,
and-
that's a,
I
yeah,
know, that's what I was trying to point out.
Yeah.
It's a typo because you copied from another document.
right. The description is right though from the
Yes.
paperwork, and
But the
then,
19 acres isn't.
right, and
And the
located on
State Road
State
is
Road
not.
is not right, and then that's gotta be fixed. Yeah, I'll fix that in the,
That's all I was trying
yeah,
to say.
okay. Property B land, let me write that, so when I read through this, if I read through this. So that's the 3.
All right, so now,
763.
the way I'm seeing it now, you're gonna divide the 14 into 3 parcels, 2 off of Saginaw Road, 1 off of Maple, and then combine all this.
Yeah, see, this,
Be these 2,
these is where I live,
yep,
these two here.
okay?
So part of my estate, I'm getting this section here and that one behind the little house on Maple Road. And Kurt,
Oh, this is already nothing to be sold. Never
no,
mind. I got it. Yeah,
that's a
already
whole,
separate.
that's another person.
I saw that.
And this is Kurt's,
Yep.
and then this is his part of it. So this shape here is going with the.
Oh, that's all gonna become one?
No,
Oh,
they're gonna keep this one separate. They said that way, if this person wants to sell this or do something here,
okay.
then he don't have to go through and.
So it'll be the
divide
5 plus this you're selling together.
it. Yes, this
Separate
here,
parcels.
see, it's 3.4 there and
Yep.
5
And
acres
that gets
there.
you your 8.
8.4.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the plan of what we got going. But the only thing we needed is that taken out,
Understand,
make it
yep.
residential.
Okay. Any further discussion? Any questions? Anything else we need answered?
Well, just the same thing as the others. Did anybody look at their ordinance so they know what they gotta decide?
I mean, that's why Seth sent us the memorandum, because our ordinance does not, our ordinance for rezoning is not
I understand.
that solid. That's why Seth sent us the memorandum.
But you gotta be able to back yourself up.
Right.
You gotta answer some questions. Does this meet the master plan? Kinda no, but can we still do it? Yes.
Right.
Which, by the way, your application says, yes, it meets the zone master plan, but it does not.
Right.
So that's, just questions like that is all I have. Don't forget, you can use commercial for residential, so it doesn't stop the use.
Can you explain that master plan to me? If I were to sell my property residential,
You can still sell it residential.
Yours is
The
already zoned
master-
residential, correct?
No,
Yep.
partial.
It's
well,
all
no,
one parcel.
He has a lot enhancement, so yeah, he did it.
It's all one parcel, so it could be.
But I
it
think the
could be
welding
taxed
shop is still
partially.
grandfathered in, the welding shop is still grandfathered in, I think.
Technically, here's the way all that can work. I don't know in your case, you have to talk to the.
No,
tax
but I'm
lady.
just saying, if your master plan is this, do I have to come to some meetings and have a problem with the master plan since I own property on 38? And,
No, so if you don't need it to be rezoned, if you're just straight up
You are
selling
what you
it,
are.
it's,
Yeah, you're
you can just sell it.
okay.
It would be if, for some reason, like in their instance where they need
No, I
a
just heard
parcel,
you say you
yeah.
can make him have it all business and not residential, I'm like, what?
Well, no, what I was saying is, it is an easier lift for asking for a rezoning because the master plan says, we want this to be commercial. So it would have been an easier path potentially to ask for the residential to be
By
commercial.
20 acres, you want
Right.
neighbors that have trees and not business.
Right.
I don't know, just my thought on the master plan versus I bought property in the country.
But you bought property in the country on a major thoroughfare, on a class A road.
In a commercial.
That's already a commercial district since
Yeah.
you were a little kid.
There.
Right.
Yes.
Keep that in mind, you know what I
That's
mean?
why when
Apparently at some time though, you combined all yours into one parcel. I don't know that it is or isn't zoned, the whole thing could be commercial, I
That's
can't
why
see
I'm
that.
asking these
Or the whole
questions,
thing
so I
could be
probably can check
residential.
into it now, yeah.
Even, for example, if it is residential, you could be getting double taxed, part of it could be commercial taxes, because of the
That's
commercial
what we
building.
ended.
But that's
When I did
between,
the zoning, that's what we ended, and it's just private now, is my understanding.
well then, yeah, that's, you and the zone, or the tax assessor know that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's also nothing stopping a commercial property from being used in a residential capacity. It's just
That's all
that if
You're
it's
involved
zoned,
in these meetings when I come say something about it, right?
huh?
No, no, no.
Call one of these meetings. Let's say he sells
Well,
his
no,
property,
no.
they decide I don't want residential.
If it, the
No,
the
that's
example
the
that I'm
backwards
giving,
what he just said,
the
sorry.
example that I'm giving is, so the commercial property that they have there
No.
right now, like if it
And I
was
knew
big
that
enough,
when I bought the property.
if it was big enough to build a house on, it isn't because it's only half an acre, like if they tore the
However-
building down,
However,
Right.
that half acre's
it's
existing,
also a.
they could
land.
currently turn that building into a residence legally.
Yes.
That would be allowed in the commercial
If
district.
you could meet building.
Building codes,
Right, yeah.
but you wouldn't have to worry about size, is my point.
But you can,
It's
but
already existing.
you can use a commercial property for residential use.
But you can't use a commercial property, or vice versa.
You can't use a residential property.
without doing the special things like the daycare. is doing.
Right. Okay. Are we good now?
Well,
For that piece
I
of
don't
property?
know. People, I don't know.
Well, and we could rush into a decision and then 2 months down the road get taken to court, Bob, so which do you want?
Into it, they was already here weeks ago trying to do something with it.
make your motion, Bob.
Can't.
I will, I'll make a motion to.
No, you can motion anytime you want.
You're still discussing.
Oh, guys, can we just get along, please? No?
That-
Let's not talk. Let's just get some business done.
You know,
I mean, I don't care if it takes, I just, like, I need to tell the realtor,
yeah,
you guys are in
The-
discussion, it's gonna be maybe up to 2
the
months.
issue here is that we're trying to have a discussion and there may or may not be a discussion as to whether or not we're discussing it too much, which is what
Right.
we're supposed to be doing.
Okay, wait, let's just, did I hear that the zoning law wasn't quite clear enough for you to make a decision about 10 minutes ago?
No, what I'm saying, what I was saying is the attorney supplied a memorandum
Yeah.
to remind us as to what our authorities are. The zoning,
Okay, yeah, just
the
make a decision from there then, and-
the ordinance itself, as to what Ben was saying, reading the ordinance that we have is not great. That's why the attorney supplied a memorandum
So
to
the
say,
question is, you could decide tonight,
yes, we
based on
can,
the law you already have, the rules you already have.
yes, we can.
Or you could work with your lawyer to fix that before this guy can make his decision?
No,
Okay,
there is the ability to make a decision tonight.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna quit talking so y'all can decide.
The question is if there is any more discussion, but Mr. Amer has already made a motion.
I didn't hear it, I apologize.
Yeah.
The motion to, or recommend this, what is it, to the county board now?
Recommend,
You just recommend approval, right?
yeah, recommend,
That's it, Colin.
Then that,
the wording that you want to use is recommend adoption of zoning ordinance map amendment.
there you go.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to recommend the adoption of a zoning ordinance map amendment with regards to I would use the parcel number, the 020-114-000-2400-00. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I want it read back after she writes it.
Yep.
Oh, please, that's so long.
Sorry.
Motion by
I can-
Todd
well,
to
I'd rather
recommend
wait till-
adoption of zoning ordinance map amendment 020
Yeah, for.
for 020-014-000-2400-00.
So any further discussion?
Seconded by Bob.
If not, I need a roll call vote.
Bob,
Yes.
Devin,
Yes?
Ben,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Gloria, yes.
Okay. Now, we have to do the resolution for this. So, Vassar Township Planning Commission resolution to rezone certain properties. At a meeting of the Vassar Township Planning Commission held on the 11th day of June 2026, the following resolution was offered by, I will offer this resolution, and supported by, do I have a support on this resolution? Gloria supports. Whereas Section 306 of Public Act 110 of 2006, the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, herein the ZEA, requires a planning commission to conduct a public hearing for all rezoning requests, and it further provides that the planning commission cannot recommend approval of a rezoning request unless proper notice was provided for the public hearing. Whereas an application has been submitted by Vassartown, oh, no, that's wrong, by Kirk Kennard, requesting to change 0.51 acres of land which had been currently zoned commercial, this property being located on Saginaw Road with tax parcel ID number 020-014-000-240000, and a public hearing was held pursuant to notice on June 11th, 2026, and the Planning Commission approved the zoning change, whereas Section 307 of the ZEA provides that after the Planning Commission approves a rezoning request, the township shall submit the proposed zoning maps to the County Planning Commission for review and its recommendations, and the county PC has 30 days from the date it receives the proposed zoning maps to review it and provide the township with the recommendations. Now therefore it be resolved, the Vassar Township Planning Commission recommends adoption of the proposed rezoning amendment pursuant to the application submitted by Kirk Kennard, request to change 0.51 acres of land currently zoned commercial to AFR. This property being located on 3763 Saginaw Road with tax ID 020-014-000-2400-00, and it recommends approval to amend the boundaries of the zoning district as shown on the zoning map to rezone the following described property from commercial to agricultural, forestry, and residential. And then it gives the property description. I'm not going to read through that. The Vassar Township Planning Commission authorizes its recommendation for adoption of the proposed rezoning amendments and proposed zoning map to be submitted and filed with the Vassar Township Board and to be submitted with the Tuscola County Planning Commission for its review and recommendations. I need another roll call vote on this, please.
Devin,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Gloria, yes.
Resolution is declared adopted, and then you will, once I get this fixed, I will send you this, and then you'll sign it
Okay.
and give it to Troy, and then Troy will submit everything to the Tuscola County Planning Commission. And then with that, I have pre-drafted the adoption of zoning ordinance map amendments for the Board of Trustees. I will make sure that the wording is correct. If there's any corrections that need to be made, let me know.
Once I seen that was for the township board, I quit looking at it for today, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, it is just a pre-draft of the resolution so they have it.
I read just enough to know you had it all wrong because it was to the board.
Right,
That's when I figured out it's not for us.
right. Yeah, it is just a pre-draft, so
I understand.
we make sure that the paperwork gets done.
The resolution PC 202601 is the correct number, right?
Yes, that is the
I didn't
correct
know
number.
that was
It's the
correct.
very first resolution that we've done so far this year. All right, so now that we've got it all approved, once I get Gloria this paperwork, she'll sign it. Troy will, and I will need the list of how people voted
Yep.
before we leave, so I can put that in
Yep.
the thing. Then Troy will submit the map and all that to the county. If you would let the Kennards know when you submit it to them and let us know when you submitted it, so we know when that 30-day period starts, so we can make sure that the Board of Trustees handles it if there's no action given by the county in the 30 days, because
Right.
they don't always answer us back.
They sometimes
Yeah.
never answer, sometimes, quite often.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
They aren't required to, but we're
Right.
required to let them look at it.
Yeah.
Look at it.
So
So it's not done yet, but it's one step closer.
No news is good news after 30 days.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
But looking at a calendar from the day it's mailed or sent,
Yeah,
that could be
So
another month.
so your 2-month answer is more accurate.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell her, maybe I'll hear something within the next 2 months,
Yes.
but don't plan on relisting it until August.
Right.
Because it's
Well-
July, August, September probably.
Because it
Yeah.
goes to the Tuscaloosa
Okay.
Planning Commission, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if
It has to
your,
go back to the Board of
if your
Trustees.
person said like, well, as long as there is action on it, you could, but
Yes. Well, that's
the
what she
caveat being like,
Well, we know.
There's 2 more steps that could
paperwork
say
you
no.
guys- You have approved it,
right,
so then she might list it and then put on a sub-note on the listing that combination of rezoning is in the process. And then that at least give us the opportunity to have maybe somebody come and look at the place without not being listed.
Would that be on the minutes, so we can speak the minutes of this meeting to her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it'll be
can
on
go
the-
online
it'll
and
be on
look
the-
at it.
Online, so there you go, tell her to go online.
Are the drafts
Yes.
put online after you turn them in?
I think she's
Yeah.
watching right now. The realtor's watching us right now.
Well, then,
She's in Kentucky.
Okay, so with that then, we will now move on to agenda item 13.
Thank you.
Yep. The representative from the mini storage on M15 is here. They wanted to suggest some potential differences on how they would divert stormwater, correct? Sir?
Slightly, yeah. The last time I was here, I had printed a lot of copies of these off, but I just thought I would bring the original one back in. The neighbors, were here in opposition the last time I was here. I think it must have been in September at some time. And, they were adamantly against the expansion of outdoor storage, and they thought it would flood their properties. And, I think the planning commission said that was my ultimate
Yep.
goal, but I believe the planning commission said if I had put a berm, if I added a berm to my site plan, it would be approved. Both of the neighbors have come to me and said they do not want a berm. So I'm just back
I mean, they
here.
were here when we
I thought the
discussed that.
berm was there.
Right, it was there.
Right.
You say, yeah.
Yeah, I think that, they thought about it, wintertime went, we had to plow all the snow off of Sunset Drive. I staked the berm out because I had a tank survey come from Bad Axe and line staked the entire southerly portion of the property line, every 100 feet they staked it.
Mhm.
And he also laid out, the width of Sunset Boulevard, which none of it's on my property, it's all on the neighbor's property.
Right.
It's 16.5 feet wide, it's 1 rod wide, 20 rods deep. So, basically, it's all my property to the north of Sunset Drive. So in order to lay out the 10-foot green belt, the way that the ordinances state, it would be like right where they're gonna push all their snow. Which I'm fine with them, obviously pushing all the snow onto my property, but if I put the berm there, that was their big, stink is, Leroy and Cecil, they were, upset about the berm as time went on, I think, so. I think as we discussed before, I believe it meets all the criteria of the site plan. I can plant Norway spruce instead of the berm. I'm actually reducing the elevation of the property, not increasing it, so. And I did take probably 100 pictures of their properties during the spring thaw cycle and the heavy rains, and their properties are flooded out already. I think if anything that I do here is gonna improve their drainage, not make it worse. And I'm surprised Cecil's not here, because he said he was gonna be here, but, they don't want to berm.
So because we had discussed the berm on the north side and the south side, right?
I think so, yeah.
And they're saying no to the berm, at least on the south side, because of how they plow Sunset.
Yeah. I haven't talked to the neighbor on the north end. I think a berm would probably make his situation worse too.
Okay?
On which,
Just
The north
the
side.
north side, yeah. Just based off how the,
this here, this neighbor,
yeah.
just off,
Yeah.
you see part of it, right?
Yep.
So they were talking about how the water floods here and then here or something, I can't remember. It never gets to this drainage ditch, they were saying.
Yeah,
Did you ever find any information on that? Like, does it
no.
really get there or not, or?
During the heaviest rains we had this year, that water is gone within a week. That soil's pretty sandy. I think it was more of a.
When you're putting in you're planning on putting in like crushed limestone and that,
Yeah.
you're not talking about putting down a full like concrete pad or anything
No,
like that, right?
no, just stone. No, so basically I'm just here just to, I don't know, the neighbors wanted the berm, and they didn't want the berm. You said they had the berm and you'd approve it, but if I had the berm, they're gonna be mad, so I'm just trying to be a neighbor.
Throwing away the words berm, and I wanna make sure, my reasoning for the berm was as a way to force water from not flooding them. That's all I care about.
Right.
If it's not flooding them,
Yeah,
The trees are
basically
perfect.
basically
That's better than
controlling,
Yeah. And like I said, I'm surprised Cecil's not here because Cecil, actually contacted me. He wants to remove some dirt from my property, cause there's a high spot in the center where it says where the outdoor storage spaces would be.
right?
10 by 30, that's where the high spot is, and he wants to knock that high spot down. And I thought he was gonna be here in opposition to the berm because he was the one that brought it up. And then the other guy at the end, he's moving, so he's already like almost all moved up north, so maybe that's why he's not here, but. we're just
I mean, I
trying
think the main thing that we wanted to accomplish, right, was because you're a commercial use next to residential, is just making sure that adequate blockage, first and foremost, of the outdoor storage, right? Like you're adding on, all this outdoor storage instead of it being enclosed, just being able to make sure there's some buffer to the residential properties. I think the berm, if I remember correctly, the berm was a discussion because of the flooding, but it sounds like you're.
and it possibly can solve the water problem, if there was a water problem. You guys were in dispute over that a little bit anyhow, I remember.
there doesn't appear to be one.
It runs this way, but it might run that way if somebody else said it.
Right, and like you said, I'm actually removing elevation from the site, it's not gonna be lower when I get down.
Yeah, I think the concern would ultimate, but it doesn't sound like that you're going to do that. The concern would be is like, you strip that vegetation down and you put a bunch of hard pack in there that
That water's gotta go somewhere.
doesn't drain, right? So,
Right, yeah.
like, where is it going to end up? And I know from personal experience that what they're calling the sales drain is really not the sales drain, it's just a ditch
It's a
that,
contributor
eventually will get back there, but I can tell you that it does not flow that well.
It could if it was dug out.
Well, that would,
They got all kinds of fall for it, right?
but that ditch is not maintained by, that part of it is not maintained by the county.
No, but I'm just saying, the neighbors, cause they could make a swale in there and everybody could be happy.
Somebody did try that and they didn't do a very good job about that.
That don't mean it
But either way, guys,
wasn't done right.
so do we have an application in front of us that's pending? And
I mean, he's already got, it's
I have to go back and paperwork a long time ago, I don't remember.
because it's commercial, it is a use by right in commercial. However, even commercial properties need some sort of just like, this is what I want to do, and then we go, this is still in line with the ordinance.
I just didn't know if we already had an application in front of us.
It's not an
Site plan
application.
review request. I don't remember what we got way back in whatever it was, September. I remember talking about it.
It talked about the drain, and then we also, the original picture didn't show the setbacks as well as this one did, so I see that's been adjusted also. So that's in line of what we talked about last time.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here is like, as long as the screening from the adjoining properties is the same, like from my perspective, if they just don't want the berm, I don't really care one way or the other. It's mostly the screening requirement from residential property, because you're adding on to, even though it's an existing area, the area that you're adding on to would be new, so we want to maintain that screening based off of what the ordinance says today. So I mean, if you're still willing to plant trees, I'm fine. Like from my perspective, as one person, like I'm fine with that change.
Yeah, I actually have a small Norway spruce tree farm. I've got hundreds of trees. I plant 120 every year there, so yeah, I've got a lot of trees I can plant.
I mean, anybody else care?
I think he's done just what we asked him to do.
What are the setbacks? Is this 14 foot, how far away from the Sunset you're gonna be, or what is
So
it?
that's my property line, so that 14 feet would be how far the fence would be away from the property line?
And that's how far the existing fence is, you're just following the same straight line?
Yeah, yeah.
And on the other side, how close is it to the property there, you know? On the north side?
Yeah, I don't think I have that exact measurement on the north side, but I think that's the only one I didn't pull off of there.
Well, what are these numbers here that I see then? 160 on the
Yes,
west end?
that's how wide it would be on the
Oh,
back,
okay.
160 wide, 250 at the top, and east to west, and then 330 east to west at the bottom on the new fence. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
I'm trying to pull the,
I was trying to pull your ordinances up this morning for setbacks on fences. I was having a hard time finding it. I found the setbacks for green belts for commercial properties, but for fences,
What did the bill say? Because not knowing we were gonna talk about.
10
that,
feet,
I didn't look.
whenever there's a commercial property that's bordering residential property, they want a 10-foot green belt. Planning commission can approve a berm.
That, right, a burn
Or
for,
a fence.
or trees. or
Fence can be
or
on the line.
combination.
yeah, that's what I was just looking up here.
Fence can be on the line.
Can it be right on the line, the fence? Oh, there you go. Yeah, it should be, I mean, 20.
But for a fence
Well,
for this
but
purpose,
the-
it would have to be like a privacy fence.
Right.
Right,
It wouldn't be allowed to be just the cycle.
Right.
Yeah, I
You're using the fence in lieu of landscaping.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not doing that on here, but I.
You may or may not want a fence for security
Right,
also,
yep.
with the trees or with the berm or whatever.
You're not
I mean,
gonna have
even
it
if-
secure with a fence.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Anybody can walk through your bushes and your trees and get on, in there, right?
Right, yeah, that would
So
be
you're
good.
not gonna put a fence on.
No, there, yeah, there
No,
should be
you
a
put it-
You're
fence.
proposing a new fence.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said, you can put a fence on
Yeah.
there and then.
Well, I mean, yes, we could use the fence in lieu of the plantings, but he's got enough room in between, and it would be nicer for the neighbors to look out on trees than the steel fence. But that's just my opinion. What does anybody else think?
You don't want the space to store stuff.
Well, he's keeping it
That's why-
14, he's keeping it 14 feet off the,
It doesn't have to go so for a fence, my point, you can use that 14 feet.
well, the fence could be there, but not the storage. The storage has to be
10 feet off.
the the setbacks off of, the setback for side yards in a commercial is 20 feet. You're already within, with the fence, you'd be within that, but that you're following the existing fence line. You're not necessarily adding to the,
Right,
you're not making it more non-conforming by where you're putting the outdoor storage. It's following the existing line. If you were to try to go any closer to the road, you'd be adding to a non-conformance with what the current ordinance is. Because the current ordinance says a minimum of 20-foot setback for side yards. Which I guess you could also, I mean, depending on how you interpret what a side yard is, that also could be your front yard, which is a minimum of 75-foot setback. But that, where is your address off of Sunset or is it off of State Road?
oh, it's technically off Sunset.
Yeah.
What's your stuff back on the roof?
Well, he's gonna have plenty of room back there.
I just don't know.
I'm back to kind of asking my question before. Technically, what we're doing today is, the way I thought it was when I seen it on the agenda, is that he's coming in to ask tell us about the berm idea, if there was a problem or whatever,
Right.
if he's gonna do it or not.
Yeah.
But now we would need him to officially follow the whole site plan review, which is quick,
I
right?
mean, that's part of what this.
Or is that what we're just
That's
kind
what's,
of doing
that's what
right
we're
now?
doing, that's what
Oh.
we're doing, because
Well, then in
he's
that
asking
case, I wanna
for,
know where's the water runoff gonna go once you start doing this, because I want that called out. That's our first problem with a lot of places.
Right,
I won't mention the specific location right now, but they put in a great big parking lot where it used to be water retention, and now it's my parents' yard. That's the water retention.
Well, and that's why he's saying there's already an existing high spot there that,
But they're gonna take the high spot out,
Oh.
but gravel doesn't absorb water very well. It's gonna run somewhere.
well, but it's also gonna have a bunch of, it can take up, it's not like hard packed.
That's some absorption.
It's gonna
It
have
has
some,
but
yeah.
you put in
It's
that-
not-
you
it's
put
not
in
a
that limestone
concrete or-
mix or something like that, it's gonna run faster than it soaks.
I mean, you are, I guess the question to what Ben is saying is,
Then it's gonna.
are you
always-
going to slope it to it's going to be sloped towards the back side of the property.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
West, for example, you got lots of room.
Yeah.
You could dig a slight low spot, which is your water retention, for example.
Right.
I'd like that kind of stuff called out.
Well, but originally the plan was because the amount of dirt that you were gonna pull out for that area was going to make the berms, right?
And that would hold the water to the north side of his line. I don't care if there's berm, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I think the trees will look far better for the
Right.
neighbors.
I agree.
Or a slight berm with trees on top of it.
Trees will absorb the water, they'll suck them up once they grow too.
Right.
I mean, I'm fine with the change. I understand what Ben's saying, as long as you have it planned that the water, you're not going to purposely tilt the parking area towards the neighbors. You're gonna have it,
Yeah, I mean, it is quite a bit lower than neighbors too, I mean, already, that was
Right.
another reason why they were against the berm, I think, after they thought about it, because,
Which part? This is lower, or this is lower?
yeah,
With
so,
the high
oh, you
spot?
got the same thing, I guess,
So
so,
just make us a copy.
yeah, so this whole entire property on the other side of Sunset, the north side is lower.
Even the
Yeah,
high
so-
spot you're talking about.
Well, the
Like
high
that.
spot is probably higher, it's
Okay, all right.
pretty high, but that's what Cecil wants to knock out, he volunteered to take up the dirt with his tractor and knock it down, so. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good plan, Rick, I honestly do, I don't think there's gonna be any water issues there at all. That's why I waited so long, I wanted to
Yeah.
wait, until spring, especially with the two neighbors that were really against it. I don't wanna get sued if I, did all this, last year, and then spring comes, and then Cecil says, look at my yard, it's flooded. That's why I waited, I got a bunch of pictures of his yard, a bunch of pictures of Leroy's yard, when the water was the worst. I took pictures of the back, and I took pictures of everything, because after I do this, I don't want someone to say, well, look at this, now my yard's flooded. I'll say, well, here's the pictures from 2026 spring, before I
alright,
did this.
so, just so we're all on the same page, you're saying you're gonna do away with the berm. You're going to do plantings in the green belt area.
Yeah.
But the outdoor storage space is staying the same, you're doing the 48 spaces.
Yeah, I would like to keep really just the original.
Just
I mean,
that original plan there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I did read through your ordinances, and I looked at the site plan review requirements, and I tried to make this, to the best of my
Yeah.
ability on the GIS map. I think that measurement's actually 34.14 feet is the setback on the southerly,
Okay.
the southwest, or I'm sorry, the south, west corner there. I tried to pull it up on my phone, I just when I printed off, I don't think it included that dimension.
Did you say his intent was to not do the berm? I thought you were still planning on doing it.
No, it's not doing the berm.
Not doing berm.
Not
Neighbors
doing
don't want it.
I don't think the berm, the neighbors don't want the berm, and like I said, I thought Cecil was gonna be here to talk about it, but they're really against it because of the greenbelt area and Sunset Drive and where the snow needs to be plowed, and I went over there and had a survey company stake out the entire southerly line, the entire way down Sunset, and I staked out the 10-foot and the berm and where it would go, and yeah, I think after that, they were like, well, we don't want anything to do with that. Because I think they were thinking I was gonna, sacrifice a bunch of my property to put this berm in.
Right.
Obviously not. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, the way this is presented now, hopefully this meets your site plan review because, I think that would be great. And I've already got a bunch of Norway spruce on there that I can plant for screening.
So, back to the site plan review, the only thing I'm still saying is it doesn't talk about water runoff, and it should be on there, in my opinion. You're supposed to list all these things, and that's one of them. And we need to know, hypothetically, don't, he could say about anything he wants, You approved it. He doesn't have anything on there about water runoff. He can mound it in the middle, run the water all across the
The
neighborhood.
topo takes care of that, which Mr. Tank can do.
I don't even know if he has to pay for one. He can just say, I'm digging a swale
They
there.
don't charge you for a topo. That shows you your lows, your highs, and where it goes. And that's very common on a lot of commercial jobs. For just the same thing that you got here, you got a border resident, and you've already got your pictures, you know it's like.
I mean, there's,
A topo tells you where your water's gonna run, Ben. It answers the question. It tells you the elevation of your land, as well as the topo can be, he'll lay it out if you are gonna raise 4 inches or 6 inches.
that's
So
what I
now
meant.
the
For
topo-
instance, I'll use an example. If it's lower here than here, but there's a high spot in between, you can show me all the topo at once, the water's not gonna get there.
He has to show the high spots as well as the low. He won't do every
But this
foot,
plan would show,
but he's
I'm
saying he's
digging a
taking it
swale.
out. He's saying he's taking the high spot out.
I mean, that's what Cecil, he wants to do, is take that high spot, because it is a continuous grade in the back.
I think everybody's missing the point. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a great idea. But there's nothing in writing that says that. He walks out of here and doesn't do it. What have you got to prove he was supposed to do it? He sells it tomorrow, the next day does it.
So make it part of the motion.
Can you put a condition on there? I mean, can you impose one condition?
I'm not putting a condition. You're supposed to have already showed it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. yeah.
You didn't show it. It's right there. I gotta find which line again now. Hold on. Right here, F. Location of existing and proposed utility lines, wells, septic systems, and storm drainage.
Location of existing,
Yep,
is that what it said?
yep. F.
Well, I did put the location of sales drain, but, you
But
know.
if water's not getting there, you know what I mean? That's my problem.
What is it? Can you read it again? What does it say?
It's Article 15, 15.3, and then the letter F. He can get you a copy of it probably if we ask him. Location of all existing, it's all these different requirements, A, B, C, D, E.
Sure.
F is the one that talks about purpose.
It just wants to have
Show what's gonna
location
happen.
of existing.
He said existing, but I think we're after, aren't you after finish?
Yeah, because existing, once you alter it.
You're altering the whole thing, so we're after finish. That's what Ben's worried about.
You want me to add location of finished?
Yeah, like how you're gonna deal with the drainage, that you're gonna create a problem.
Yeah,
If you gravel it, or you change your mind and you asphalt it, now the water's not running through it, it's going somewhere. Where's it going?
sure. Yeah, I was just trying to follow those line items in there.
I
and check all
understand.
the boxes.
And I didn't know we were getting that detailed today. I thought you were just here about information, so.
Okay, so,
I'm not prepared to make a motion. I don't know the wording then, because I didn't know we were coming to do that. Somebody else can make a motion, I'll vote no if I don't like it. That's my only hangup. I want you to go
You
build
can
it.
make a motion with a stipulation of having the drainage shown. Just throwing it out there for one person.
there isn't a drainage ditch or a drainage grate or anything like that in the existing,
No.
the storage areas, right?
No,
There's not a crock or anything in there,
No.
right? Yeah, it's just natural drainage.
No place to run it either, can't run it down 15 because it ain't low enough, lots of places. So.
And the fencing currently only goes around the two buildings, right? You'd have to remove a section of fence.
Right, yeah, the back would come off and then it would get extended on the north and south side. Yep.
Alright, so I guess this is the wording of the motion I'll make. So conditionally approve the landscaping with, you said spruce?
Yeah, it's on here, Norway spruce.
So, approve landscaping buffer of Norway spruce, on the north and south lot lines, but before, expansion of the outdoor storage space commences must supply proof of water drainage on property
Elevation.
with elevation mapping. With elevation mapping, if, what's the word I'm looking for? If,
I will only say quickly while you're thinking, that that's more technical than I wanted. If he says, I'm gonna make the low spot here and run the water to it, I'm good with that. I don't need
Okay,
to
let me-
pay for
let me-
elevations and topo.
okay, let me rephrase this
You
then.
know,
So,
if you purposely, on what he's thinking, if you
Yeah.
purposely run it all to the spot you create, that solves the problem.
all right, so make the motion to conditionally approve site plan, for, is it M15 mini storage?
It's called cardinal
Cardinal.
storage now. Yep.
I just wanna make sure I use the right wording. So, conditionally approve the site plan changes for Cardinal mini storage, with replacing berm with, spruce tree plantings in the green belts, with, documentation of water retention before expansion happens. Water retention on property before expansion. Water retention plan before expansion. Yeah, that's what I want, yeah. Water retention plan before expansion occurs. Do I have a second?
Yes.
A motion and a second to conditionally approve site plan changes. Any further discussion?
Just make sure you understand what it is that he's asking for, so that you know what information to come back with, right?
Basically just add to this showing that where the water is going to, once you make this expansion, where the water is going to end up. Like, even if it's like you're gonna decrease the elevation in the back by, you're gonna dig down whatever distance, just to make sure that the water continues to flow away from the other properties. You're not purposely flooding anybody else up.
Sure.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So, yeah, just add to this little bit of a drawing showing like how you're going to maintain water on the property once you make, right before you do this, and then you should be good.
Okay.
All right, cool,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yep. Sorry it took so long to get to that point.
That's all right. You guys have a good night.
You too. All right, so now we'll go on to Resolution PC 2026-02, Vassar Township Planning Commission resolution to adopt dates, times, and locations of regular meetings. Resolution adoption of the 2026 to 2027 Vassar Township Planning Commission meeting schedule. Whereas according to the Open Meetings Act, Township Planning Commission must post within 10 days of the first board meeting of the township's fiscal year a public notice stating the dates, times, and places of its regular meetings. And whereas Vassar Township has established the second Thursday of the month as the regular schedule for its meeting, now therefore be it resolved that the Vassar Township Planning Commission approves the following dates for its regular meetings for the 2026 to 2027 fiscal year. Each meeting will be held at 7 p.m. located at Vassar Township Hall, 4470 West Saginaw Road, Vassar, Michigan 48768, phone number 989-823-3541. The dates are as follows: July 9th, August 13th, September 10th, October 8th, November 12th, December 10th, January 14th of 2027, February 11th, March 11th, April 8th, May 13th, June 10th. The foregoing resolution was offered by Devin. You're gonna offer it? Okay. So Ben and I will support. And supported by Devin Fother. Upon roll call vote, the following voted. So I need roll call vote.
Sam,
Yeah.
Todd,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Gloria, yes, Devin,
Yes?
Bob.
So let me get this written down, because I have to update this too. Upon roll call vote, the following voted aye. Sam Tester, Todd Amer, Ben Partridge, Gloria Coffey, Devin Fother, and Bob Ryle. The chair declared the resolution adopted. And then I'll update this, Gloria, and send that to you as well to sign. As for discussion and action on Parks and Rec requests, there were no requests. Just to update what they had talked about at their last meeting, they are they're gonna try for several grants. They're looking at other places to get grants to help offset some costs. They're gonna try another teen event to see if they get any traction with any teen event. Their last teen event did not have any attendance, so if this next one doesn't have any attendance, their thought process is to open it back up to being more full family affairs as opposed to just a specific age group. Aside from that, like I said, they didn't have anything. They weren't even sure if they had anything left in their budget for this year to be able to do anything. And then very similar event schedule for next year as they had this year. The only things that might change is the teen events. They might become family events as opposed to teen specific. Anybody have any questions?
Do they have a Father's Day one coming up?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's this weekend, the 13th. Other business not listed. Troy, did you have anything?
No, I thought so. You got
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say anything other than that.
No, I'll wait for public comment.
Okay. And then, yeah, we'll go back to the zoning administrator's report if anybody's got any questions on that. Seth, have any of those proposed zoning ordinances that we might need to add, so like the private road or any of
Oh,
that?
yeah. I've been on the phone
Okay.
with him two times this week.
Okay.
And had a Zoom meeting with him today, and we went over a lot of things. I need to let him know when our next zoning meeting is going to be. There's some issues with the new zoning stuff that we got going on, the new ordinances that he wants to talk
Can we
about.
send a bullet pointed list so we have a list in front of us?
Yes.
Okay.
He's gonna do that. So
Okay.
that's why he wanted to know, when the next one,
It'll be the 25th.
of this month.
It'll be the 25th of this month.
Oh, okay. I'll let him know, but I don't, because he is looking at that, rewriting the marijuana and the applications.
The applicant.
Yeah, the applications, the application forms.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Specifically for the marijuana stuff? Okay.
yeah, specifically for the marijuana stuff. was thinking more like maybe next month.
I mean, we're gonna have one regardless on the.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm talking about having him come in with, on our Zoom and talk with us about different issues. But
I mean, even if you could just get us a bullet pointed list of like a high level, what he's going to talk about, so
Yeah.
we can, like if it's something that we're going to be talking about during the 25th, we can at least put an earmark by it saying like, yeah, this might change, so we might want to skip over this part. Maybe this part is not something that we need to talk about tonight. Because that will help us move that process along potentially. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be a full like written out like what the problems are. Just even if it is just like, hey, this section I have concerns about.
It's only because, you know, Roe's not gonna be going to court, you know, and Seth has been to court up here, he knows how.
Well, that's fair. I mean,
Yeah, so, yeah, I'll get you some stuff.
yeah, I mean, I would hope that he has like an annotated version of the ordinances that he could even share with us.
I was gonna say, he's already had this for a long time, I hope, right?
He's had it.
Or their firm has, I don't know
Yeah,
if he
no,
has.
he hasn't, he's
Yeah.
had it for quite some time, yes.
No, I would love to have heard this sooner then.
And then why didn't you have it ready?
So hopefully he'll have it correct. I don't know for sure.
I mean, every time I raise my hand to ask a question, I get accused of dragging it out longer, and now the attorney's gonna come up with questions,
Well, I mean,
which we want and needed
Right.
a year ago.
Well, I mean, ultimately, we could also just run through the rest of it, and then the board of trustees could do the part of the attorney, because,
I don't know, because if you make, the way I remember this theory from a long time ago, if you make a few clerical errors, no problem. You've had your public hearing at that point, you're good. But if you get to the point where the board's got it, and they make major changes, you gotta start to go back to a whole public hearing and everything then.
well,
If they make a few clerical errors, that's, you know, you correct some things, dots and i's, you know, that you don't have to go back to a public hearing. But you make major ruling changes, then you
Well-
start a lot of it over again. Not the whole 2-year process or 3-year or whatever it's been.
let's just make the changes.
Anyway, go on.
Okay. Yeah, just bullet point so we know what may or may not need to be reviewed at the next one,
Got it.
at least helpful.
Got it.
Any questions on his zoning administrator report? If not, then public comment. You said you had something for public comment.
Oh, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't remember, it's been a long day, I've been here for 12 hours, I'm ready to go home.
Alright, then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Bob seconds, so motion to adjourn in a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries, meeting is adjourned at 9:09.
You guys' applications were. Do you prefer them stapled together or loose leaf?
I don't care, I got one there.
Yep, alright. Let's start with you.
Not mine, it's the window one.
Yeah.
Somebody stole it the last meeting, wasn't on the window.
Here's what's gonna happen though. I'm gonna trade you, because I don't need that one anymore.
Beautiful.
Oh, this is just one, right?
Yep, and then I
You
got
said
the other one
these.
over there.
You said the word these, and I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
I got
separate it
two
now.
for